Hey guys, I want to welcome you guys back to a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm bringing guys a little bit different of a format. I just wanted to kind of have an open one-on-one conversation with you guys just about the sports card market, about everything that's going on in the economy, and kind of where I see everything going in the next coming months. Of course, I've made a few previous videos about this, but I kind of wanted to give you guys just like a raw, honest talk without any cuts or anything. So yeah, if you guys dig this style, definitely leave a like and let me know if you guys want more videos, more of this style, as opposed to just me scrolling eBay, talking to you guys, and explaining stuff. So, yeah, of course, if you guys are not familiar, prices are taking big cuts, especially on auction houses, I've noticed. So of course, like on eBay, there's a lot more buyers worldwide, but on auction houses, especially auction houses that don't have the crazy marketing that Golden has. I look at alt, PWCC a little bit. Prices are really coming down for the higher end stuff because there's simply not enough buyers right now to kind of eat up the market price for a lot of things, and a lot more is coming on to the marketplaces. So there's just a lot more for sale right now, a lot less buyers, and it's kind of just, of course, causing prices to go down. So I've kind of talked to you guys a little bit before, but of course, I personally am still a big believer. I think this is kind of just a great buying opportunity for people who have money saved up and who can really, afford to make purchases during these times. I think there's kind of a combination of a lot of things. Of course, firstly, the economy is down. That's one great thing is you can look at Google Trends, you can look at the interest in sports cards. You can go to shows and see that the interest is still there. A lot of people are still in sports cards. But a lot of bigger guys, especially that I've talked to, are kind of just holding it out for right now, kind of getting a feel for the market, and kind of will come back once they see prices stabilize a little bit more. Because it's kind of a falling knife right now, I guess, in terms of the higher end market. And lower pop autos, higher end stuff that are 10,000 plus. It's tough to get buyers to spend that right now. So that's kind of caused prices to just continue to go down. And a lot of people are kind of waiting for them to stabilize before getting back in. But another kind of thing is, of course, the Nationals coming up. A lot of people are saving money for the National. A lot of people are selling off so that they could have money for the National to spend. So I do think the National is going to provide like a good opportunity. If you're trying to sell stuff, I would say wait off until the National, because a lot of stuff is just going way under right now. And at the National, you could find a buyer who just wants the card and is willing to pay the price for it. So I would definitely say that as a little tip. Of course, the National is coming up. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then, of course, for basketball specifically, it's the beginning of the offseason, the lowest point for basketball. And that combined with the economy and, the National, I think is really causing basketball prices specifically to just, tank, honestly. I would say there's no better word than tank. I'm just being honest here. I think basketball prices, have incredible long-term opportunity, especially with Fanatics that will probably be bringing in millions of people into the sports card market. I know Michael Rubin, actually the CEO of Fanatics, if you guys don't know, the founder of Fanatics, he was, he had to decide between the Philadelphia 76ers and essentially this trading card business. And he sold his 10% stake in the Philadelphia 76ers because they couldn't coincide. And he kind of chose that Fanatics should go into sports cards. And of course, that's already set up. They're coming into the market, and they have the biggest fan base, I guess you could call it, or just customers in the sports space. And I think, if you look at the amount of basketball fans or sports fans in general, and the small percentage of them who know about sports cards even, and who collect sports cards, I think there's still a great opportunity there. And just in terms of, just people getting into the market, it's still doing very well. I see a lot of newer people getting into the market, a lot of celebrities, a lot of NBA players kind of turning attention to the market. And what Fanatics is actually, I believe, planning on doing, you don't mark my words on this, but I'm pretty sure they're going to somehow give a stake to these players, that when their sports cards sell, they kind of get a little royalty. So that's definitely going to push marketing a lot. I think they're going to sign a lot of athletes to kind of get in, start breaking cards, start investing. So I think that's all very positive in terms of the long-term sports card market. Of course, I think this is really just a matter of waiting this period out. If you're able to wait through the storms, the sunshine's going to rise again. It's just a matter of time, in my opinion. When stuff is very hot, it's always, I personally am very skeptical when prices are doubling and tripling like they were. But at the same time, I feel a lot more comfortable buying in this market than I did back in February of last year. And that's for certain. I think at this point, a lot of people are willing to buy a Kobe Bryant Topps PSA 10 when it's $10,000. And then when it's back down to 800, people are a little bit hesitant to buy. And I don't really get that. I've always personally made the most money buying the lows and selling the highs, and apparently people like to buy the highs and hope for higher, as opposed to buy the lows and be patient. But I think the best way to go about it is to buy the lows and be patient. At least that's from my experience. That's from my experience studying markets in general, not just sports cards. This applies to every single market. Stocks I think is a great opportunity. Crypto I think is a great opportunity. I think it's just a good time to be buying. And this kind of reminds me of like 2008 housing crisis. Of course, I was a little bit too young to really grasp that. But at the same time, there's been quite a lot of downturns economically, and each and every single time it's bounced back to higher highs. And if you just look at that, look at the stock market, every single time the S&P 500 has taken a huge dip, what's happened? It's gone back up, right? So unless this is some sort of, first in a lifetime, or first in like the history, crash for good, I think it's just a good time to be buying up. And I think the more liquid, cash people have right now, you're going to be looking, I personally believe I will be looking back at this time saying, dang, I wish I bought more. That was an incredible opportunity presented. And it's, of course, for me personally, my biggest thing is just figuring out when the low is the lowest, I guess, right? So when it's hit rock bottom is the absolute best time to buy. But at the same time, I personally have to stop thinking that way, because you're never going to time the bottom. That's just physically, like, it's just impossible, right? To time the bottom, to know exactly when, you hit rock bottom and you're going up. But I think buying at these prices, especially on certain cards, I just think, the upside is a million times larger than the downside. After a market has already taken a 60% cut on a card, your downside is so much lower. Or some cards have even gone down over 90%. Look at a Kobe Bryant 1996 Topps PSA 10. That was a $10,000 to $12,000 card at one point. It's currently around $800, $850. If you're buying in at $850, the downside is super low. The upside is, of course, very huge, because we've seen that card hit $10,000. So you're buying in at like a 90-something% discount. You have a lot, more upside than downside. And I think that's pretty clear. So that's kind of my thinking about everything. Like, you just have less downside and more upside when you're buying in at the low. And I understand demand does have to pick back up. Supply does have to, kind of calm itself down. Which I think it will. As the market goes up, less people sell their cards, less people post their cards up for auction. And that's just kind of the nature of the market. I know it's kind of counterintuitive. When prices go up, people think that, I would personally think to sell off. But a lot of people hold on when prices are going up and sell off when prices are going down, which I think is the opposite of how to really make money in a market. So I definitely think in terms of the sports card market, no different, in my opinion, than crypto, stocks, housing, whatever else it is, because this is not a sports. It would be concerning to me personally, and I will be honest with you guys, if sports cards were the only thing in the economy going down, and stocks were going up, and crypto was going up, and real estate was going up, I would be concerned, because that would mean that maybe sports cards are no longer, a great asset class. Maybe sports cards are no longer interesting to people, but that is not the case at all. And in fact, some markets, such as crypto, are taking a bigger hit than sports cards. Some cryptocurrencies have pretty much gone to zero, and sports cards are still holding up, but of course they're taking, 50, 60% hits. And I think that's, it was firstly bound to happen in the sports card market itself, but the fact that it happened with the whole economy just gives me that reassurance that I mean, if you look at Google Trends, sports cards are still staying very steady. A lot of people are still very interested. Shows, if you're going to the National next month, you're going to see exactly how many people are into sports cards, how many people are coming into sports cards, how many new faces I'm personally seeing, how many new friends I'm making in the sports card space. So I just think there's just a lot of upside compared to downside. And if you're buying in at these prices, it's a good opportunity, is my personal opinion. Of course, it also does depend who you're buying. And that is personally why I'm buying more of like the GOATs, the sure bets for the long term, just so that when the market comes back, the last thing I would want to happen is me buying up like, a bunch of, Zion Williamson cards. The market comes back and fully recovers 60%, but Zion Williamson gets hurt again. And I don't see any of those gains. So that's why I'm personally going in for more like guys like LeBron, Kobe, MJ, of course, just the GOATs. I feel a little bit more comfortable in Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, but other young stars who haven't really proven themselves, kind of holding off right now. Of course, Steph Curry, I think, is due for a big boost in price. Giannis. So I think just buying up those guys is probably the safest route, because if the sports card market bounces back 60% in 2023 or in the end of 2022, I know I'm going to see that 60% if I'm buying up an MJ or Kobe or LeBron. And that's just kind of the case, because people are always going to be interested in those guys no matter what the case is. And that also limits your downside, because there's always going to be a certain amount of people who still want to buy Kobe Bryant autographs, who still want to buy Michael Jordan autographs, who still want to buy LeBron James cards, even though the market's, a little bit down. And I do think there's going to be a time where bigger firms, or capitalists, whoever else, big firms are going to get into sports cards and make it kind of an asset class. I know that's already in the talks. I can't say too much, but I know that there's a lot of bigger firms that are willing to dedicate a small percentage of their capital into the sports card market. And that's, of course, going to cause good price growth. I think that's going to be a big part of the future. So I do think there's going to be a lot of big things that even I know about, but I can't really say too much. But there's a lot of bigger guys, bigger companies, bigger people who are putting their money into the sports card market when the time is right. And when they start to see prices, kind of settle down. And I think that's the same with a lot of other bigger collectors and investors. A lot of people are just a little bit hesitant right now, but as soon as they start to see prices trend up a little bit or, become steady again, is I think when people are going to be able to spend their money back and see all the good deals out there in the market and really pounce on them. And then, of course, prices are going to go back up, based on that. That's my personal prediction. I just kind of want to make this video as, a talking point for the comment section. In the comment section, I want everyone to kind of leave their personal opinions. Of course, everything I said in this video is from my perspective. Everyone kind of has their different perspectives. Some people may think it will never bounce back. I just think history is told otherwise, but, time will tell. And I definitely will look back on this video and hopefully be like, I was right. So I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Definitely leave a comment based on what you think. But yeah, also let me know if you guys like this kind of form of video. Just kind of honest talks with you guys. I think it's definitely, time for me to kind of change things up a little bit on the channel, show my face more often, and just, have open talks with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Drop a like, subscribe, and other than that, I'm out. Peace.